it's time to crank up the truth. I'm Val Selby, and over the decades of working online, I've learned a most important lesson. Mindset owns your business. If procrastination, imposter syndrome, and a lack of focus have been blocking your biz, then I'm here with Val Full Volume, ready to help you see choices that you're making. Get ready to own your personality and use your expertise to create the business of your dreams. Now is the time to make changes and live your best life. So let's get to it. All right, let's dig into a little more. And I don't know, that might have been a little bit too of an exciting tone to my voice for talking about another big one. But I mean, it is what it is. We all have to deal with all of this same old crap. So today I wanted to talk about imposter syndrome. Right? The self-doubt, the not feeling you're good enough. Do you go through any of these questions when it hits? Who am I to think I'm an expert? Why do I think I can make money doing this? And why does anyone care about my crap anyways? It's just garbage. It's just garbage. You can get it anywhere. So yuck. Here was one of the most important things that I learned about being in business and leveling up and having mentors that are at levels that I'm looking forward to. It's that this is never going to go away. And I don't say that in a negative way. It's always something we're going to be dealing with. Anytime you bump up against a comfort zone border, this is going to happen. So if we can try and change the mindset a little bit when this pops up and embrace it more as something big is about to happen. I'm not saying that's going to 100% make you feel better. It's going to take a little bit of work. I literally just sat with my coach today about this. I am going through leveling up and growth. As I'm speaking, I'm going through it right now. Thank goodness for my mindset coach is helping me through my same mindset, because it doesn't matter how much I know all of this stuff. I still need to talk about it with somebody else that can chill me out and say, hey, what if? That's one of my favorite things to lean into is the quick little question, what if? But I don't want to jump on what if right now. In fact, I'm going to make a note. I'm going to come back to that because I do want to talk about the questions, the bullshit that we tell ourselves when we're in this imposter syndrome and self-doubt and not feeling like we're good enough. Who am I to think I'm an expert? Let's be real. Are we the top expert ever created in mankind for our niche? No. Probably not. If you are, kudos. That's amazing. We probably aren't. There's always going to be more that we can learn. I mean, even if there was somebody that was the very, very top of the niche, there's going to be things that they can learn because everything changes. So the term expert, it's important, but I know that it's a sticky spot because so many times the association with expert gets put into, academia usually. You've got your degree, you've got a certification, you've got this, you've got that of some other entity out there that's proving that we know our shit, which is bullshit, right? Bullshit. Yes, there are a lot of people with degrees that have actually picked up all of that information and do know it. But there's, I venture to say, even more with degrees that don't know anything about any of that stuff that they got their degree on. And I know this because I know people that got their degree, but they're not even in those fields anymore, right? So they are not going to say they're an expert in that just because they have a piece of paper that says that. They're going to say they have that degree, yes, but whatever job they're doing now is where their expertise is. So trying to figure out how we feel about experts and what makes somebody an expert, if we can kind of go through that in our head and just question it. As it's popping up, question it. Okay, so I'm doing this product. which I'm deciding that I'm an expert. I guess let's just use me as an example. That's easy, right? So I call myself a mindset coach, right? As I'm going through the mindset shit right now, my mind is telling me a million times a minute, why the hell are you a mindset coach when you don't have your shit together? What the hell, Val? How are you going to be able to help anybody else? Blah, 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 blah. So like I said, working through it because that is something that cycles through. I know this, it happens. So I have to sit down and start going, okay, well, then what would an expert look like as a mindset coach? Well, I look up to my mentor, right? What's my mentor talk about? My mentor talks about the fact that she doesn't have all of her shit together at all the time either. She just has tools. And these are the tools. And these are the tools we're going to use. And these are the tools that have worked for her. See if they work for me. And that for me is good enough for me to pay her to help me, right? So why can't I associate that with my stuff the same? And I can. I'm just using that as an example because I'm in it. I'm in it. And I just had the conversation with her just a couple hours ago. So it's easy for me to pick it up. But there's other avenues. Let's take WordPress platform, for example. I've been playing around in WordPress. I moved every last one of my websites to WordPress in 2004. Totally done. That's all I've used since 2004 for all of my websites. Some people would probably consider me a WordPress expert then, just based on the time that I have with that. I do not consider myself a WordPress expert. I just feel like I'm really adept at it. It's not anything that I feel like I could be training, I guess I would say, because I just know that there's so many things that I don't really know how to do in there because I don't take the time and I don't keep up with it. So to me, that does help me feel like I'm more of an expert in mindset stuff because it is something that I'm constantly looking out for more information and learning. So take a look at what you are putting out there for your products. Now, I know some product stuff might be different based on calling yourself an expert. You might not even be in that realm. No worries there. Don't even get stuck on that you think you have to be an expert to put out whatever product you're doing. That's entirely up to you. On your mental part of that, I just know any of us that are coaching or putting out workshops, a lot of the time that will come up of, well, I'm not the expert at this. So take a look at it and what makes somebody else more of an expert than you. Pay attention. Are you selling what you have as a package based on what your experience and expertise is? Or are you trying to sell stuff that you don't know yet? If you're staying in your lane of the information that you know, then you're an expert in that information of what you know. Totally cool. So another one, why do I think I can even make money doing this? This one comes up quite a bit. It's all very correlated with the expertise and all of that, and all of it's self-doubt, of course. But why do I think I can even make money doing this? Is our brains telling us that this is stupid. We should just go take the easy route like everybody else. It's stopping ourselves from going after our big goals and saying, you know what, let's just take the easy route. Let's just go get a job and that regular paycheck. That'll be much easier, right? Than hustling. I mean, you still got to hustle. You still got to hustle and go get a job. You probably got to hustle to go get a new job. You got to hustle to get a raise, to get a promotion. There's still going to be hustling involved. Where do you want to put the hustle? That ends up being up to you. But that's definitely one of the things that pops up. It's just like, or even just the question of charging. Who the hell am I to be charging this much? And that one gets a little bit easier as you start raising your rates, as you start raising your prices on your products. It gets just a little bit easier until all of a sudden you're looking at it and going, of course I'm charging this. Duh. Why would I charge any less? I have this, and this. I've been doing it for this long. I know my shit is good. Of course I'm charging this much. Of course people are buying it. Much better mindset, right? It does take a little bit of work, especially if you do the price increases. It can get it gets scary because you're like, what if I piss everybody off and they don't want to buy? Well, what if you do? Just means that they're not your target market and you got to go get some more, right? So then, of course, we were talking, no one cares about my crap. Goes right along with the expertise, of course, because you're not believing that you know enough. So what would knowing enough look like? And you can even map that out. You can even write it all down. What would knowing enough that people would buy my stuff look like? Do that same thing with the expertise. What would I need to do to be an expert? Write it all down. Write it all down, all of the silly, stupid stuff even, or the stuff that you know not to be true, but it popped into your head. Write it all down. Because then you can quickly go through it and go, yeah, that's dumb. That's not necessary after you do that brain dump. And it really does help because there are times that I go in and I'm just like, oh, I need to go take this course to get this so that people will think I'm this. And it's like, no, I don't have to go and take that course because it's what I know. It's what you know that you know. And you do know so much stuff. We all do. And then when you bring in your experience and your personality, that's where the magic happens because there's only one you. So you're bringing all of that together. Now, as I said, this happens because we're bumping up against the comfort zone. And this is a good thing. It is hard to embrace that it's a good thing. Like I said, I bumped up against it this morning. I was in tears and I don't like to cry, but all of a sudden I realized what I was doing. And I was talking to myself and I was just like, oh God. Oh man, here we are. We knew this was coming up. But here it is. And now I'm going to have to deal with it because now I realize, now I'm aware that it's happening. And frick, being aware is so hard. Being aware means I can't be unaware and I'm going to have to deal with the shit. I'm going to have to deal with the thoughts. I'm going to have to work myself through them. I'm going to have to remind myself that, yeah, this is the right path. We're going the right way. And that's one of the biggest things that I have taken from going into imposter syndrome and having all of the self-doubt hit is usually now it will start hitting me. It'll start a little bit like my desk became a mess and it's just creeping in there. And the next thing I know, the Mack truck hits me. It's like, nope, here it is right now. We got to deal with this. And that's what this morning was. And it is because I am bumping up against my comfort zone border. So it's a good thing. It's me having to tell myself that this is the right thing to do. This is what we want. And this is how we're going to get to our goals. And then I have to tune out the self-doubt and I have to get really particular on my list when it hits, which is one thing that, like this morning, like I said, working through it right now. This morning, I had to sit down and I had to take a look at my desk and realize how many to-do lists I have. I know that when I get the out of control feeling going on, my to-do lists get crazy. So I knew that a couple of days ago and I started using some Post-it notes. Post-it note, I should say. Post-it note. That's my thing. When it gets bad, 3 things that must get done in the day, they go on a Post-it note because Post-it notes are smaller and I can't doodle all over them. And well, I can, but I try to keep it to 3 things. So I write bigger so I can only put 3 things on there. Right now, I'm looking at my Post-it notes and I have 3 of them going. That's not how my Post-it note system is supposed to be going. That's how Val is a little out of control goes. And that's on top of other lists. So I have to look at what my issues that pop up. And I have done the work for the last few years. So I know these keys now. Like I said, I knew as soon as my desk got cluttered that was the visual reminder that I'm not dealing with stuff. It was, I could look at my desk and this was how my mind was going right now. 100%. Absolutely. I'm aware of that. It's still going to happen. My desk is still going to end up being cluttered. And it takes me a little bit shorter time each time to notice it, that I'm like hiding, that like, oh crap, what are we going to deal with? How are we going to deal with this? That is happening. So I recognize that. Same time, I recognized all the to-do lists that were on there. So I decided to go to my Post-it notes because I was out of control with the to-do list, which I just was brain dumping every possible thing that I could do ever for all of my business, right? I mean, that's just what all these to-do lists are right now. They're just like brain dumps going on, chaotic brain dumps. So I know for me, I know these key things that start happening, like procrastination starts happening because I'm paying attention to things that don't matter. I'm like, okay, I better go clean the house, or, oh my God, my emails are like out of control, insane, which they are right now. Twitch. They are absolutely insane right now. And I swear the more chaos I feel in my body, the more everybody keeps sending emails. So I'm really working at not opening that except for a couple of times a day right now, because I know that that's one of the spots that I'm going to go and hide, because it's easier to go and do that than to work on the fact that I need to be doing some things that are hard for me right now, that are pushing me out of my comfort zone. They need to happen. We're going to do this. And some of them are not even necessarily that they're hard for me to do, like doing some IG reels, getting here on the podcast. Technically, they're not hard for me, just all together, because I know all of this stuff is building right now and leveling up right now, that all total together, they're all feeling hard. So I don't know if that even makes sense. Sometimes it's just like, it sounded great in my head, right? So take a look at what you're telling yourself. Imposter syndrome. I know a lot of people are just like, but I don't get that. It's like, no, it's not necessarily always telling yourself that you're not an expert in that field or anything like that. It really is the self-doubt of, you don't know enough to be doing what you're doing, is what that imposter syndrome comes in and looks like, that you're not good enough. You don't know enough information. So you better keep learning because, oh man, you can really procrastinate, learn a lot when you've got the imposter syndrome, because it's like, okay, well, I'm going to take this workshop. Okay, well, now I'm going to take this workshop. I'm just going to keep taking workshops on this topic until I feel like I'm an expert. Then I'll be good enough to be able to put out the product that I want, see how that goes. And it's just waiting, because you don't feel like you can cross that line yet into the next spot right outside of your comfort zone. And it does get a little hard because there's always going to be another comfort zone. Always. That's the amazing thing about adapting, is like something feels really hard right now, but when you look at it next year, you might not even remember that you were freaking out. Or you might look at it and just kind of giggle and go, wow, that was crazy that I was so worked up about that, because look at where I am now. A lot of the time, it's your brain telling you that, yes, this is what you're supposed to be doing, but it's not your normal. It's not what you normally do. So your brain's going, whoa, too far. We don't do that. So you have to train it to say, yeah, all right, let's do it. Let's go. Let's do it scared. That's what I've been leaning into lately. Like for the last week, hashtag everywhere, do it scared. Because it needs to get done. My millionaire self is telling me to do it because this is the way. Really? I'm like all Mandalorian. I've been using this as the way too much too. I can get Disney busted. But it's true. I really feel like all of this stuff is building, and it's because here's my path. It feels, I hate to say it feels good, scary, but it is kind of like that good, scary. It's an excited and scared out of my mind at the same time that this is the path. So take a look at your feelings when you're bumping up on the self-doubt. What's going on? Well, what are you trying to do, something new? Or are you just trying to do something really like you think normal in your biz? Is it because there's something new that you want to be doing, but you're hiding from it? I don't know. There's so many different avenues that it could be. So many. But I would love to talk to you more if you're having the self-doubt popping up. Jump on a call with me and let's talk about it. Let's work through it. But the main thing I want you to take away from today is no matter how much somebody makes, no matter how much they're an expert in their field, they have self-doubt and they bump up against the next comfort zone. Every single human has that happen, and it just keeps happening. And that's good. It's good, because if it's not happening, then that means you're not growing. You're not going after goals. You're just kind of, here we are. And if that was the case, you wouldn't even be listening here on this podcast. That's for sure. So I know you are ready to go hit your goals and go and get them. All right. I'm going to leave it at that. I know imposter syndrome is a big topic. So I hope that we talked a little bit on it and I gave you some tips to help you work through it when it's hitting. And more importantly, maybe some tips to help you figure out that it is happening, because that is one of the big things first, is to realize, got to become aware that it's happening. And that did take me quite a while, because unfortunately, I did not know that I should get a mindset coach back in the day. And so I just kept bumping up against stuff and I just kept self-sabotaging. And it took me a really long time to become aware, because I didn't even know that I should be researching for all of this stuff. I just thought, I suck. That's why I suck. God, I suck over and over and over again until I realized, oh, hey, wait a minute. I'm not the only one that has this problem. So if you would like some help with imposter syndrome or any other mindset work, hit me up. Let me know, bosslady@valselby.com. I'd love to have a chat. And I will talk to you on the next podcast. Thanks for listening to Val Full Volume. I can't wait to talk with you again, and I'd love to bring you more information even quicker. So if you are ready to move past your crap and be less in your head, I'm ready to coach you. An excellent first step is joining us in the Boss Mindset membership. You can find it at valselby.com/join-membership. That's valselby.com/join-membership. Now go out there and create the biz of your dreams.